All right, welcome back to Tempe, Arizona. Chris Ross here on the call with Craig Stevens, and we're back for Game 2 here at Arizona State University in Tempe at the rec field. And it's definitely warming up here, Craig. I'd say it's probably getting into the mid-90s.
I would say so. Is what it says on my phone versus what's here on the field, I think, are two totally separate things. It says it's, my phone, it says it's 83 degrees. I don't believe it. It's 83 degrees, maybe somewhere in the airport, but definitely not here on the field.
Somewhere else, for sure. So we got the second matchup here. Fort Lewis here kind of getting ready to come onto the field. They just finished a great win over ASU, and of course these are practice scrimmages, so the wins are just for bragging rights. But now they're taking on Grand Canyon, another WWLL club team coming out here. And GCU, let's talk a little bit about their season last year. Had a great season, got ranked for the first time in Division I in WWLL, made their first D1 appearance at the WCLA Nationals. So overall, really strong season coming in here. New team, same coaches, but 5 new freshmen coming on the squad. Craig, we had a chance to talk with Coach Tracy Ramirez before the game.
We absolutely did, and she wanted to be able to work on a variety of things. She's not looking to just be able to take one aspect of the game and keep working on it. She wants to do things differently. As a matter of fact, she openly said if she finds one thing in her attack which gets goal after goal, she'd want to be able to change and say, okay, fine, this isn't going to necessarily work all the time. How can we be able to work on something else? And so it's really trying to be able to get a well-rounded aspect of her team. She openly said it's not the win or losing today. It's getting the experience and getting the well-rounded experience for all of her players.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? These games don't really count for anything. It's inter-division matchup, or intra-division, I should say, going across RMAC and WWLL, but it's a chance here to put players in new positions. That was something else that Coach Ramirez talked about, Craig, is testing out players in different positions and really finding a fit. One of the things that stood out to me from Coach Ramirez was having her players play with grace, right? Being patient with each other, and that's really important not to be overly critical, as players themselves are also testing out positions that maybe they don't normally play.
Absolutely. The push was just called, so we do have a free shot coming for Grand Canyon.
So it looks like Emma Adams out of Parker, Colorado, getting things going again here, number 20 for the Lopes.
One of the things, though, Chris, that we can say, and this happens for any athlete, coaches can say all they want that it's just a scrimmage. Players, when they get out on the field, they're going to be giving it their all, and they want to win regardless of what's said. So that's just the athletic competitiveness that drives all of these players.
Oh, nice early shot here, but a save. And I think we got 31 back in the cage. We do. 31. Kaylee Lay.
So 31 is Kayla Lay back at goal from El Dorado Hills, California.
So looking great here today. She had some great saves against ASU already today, and another nice one there against the Lopes, keeping this thing scoreless about 13 minutes. And they've moved the scoreboard on us over at the table, so we will get that adjusted here for you momentarily so you can see the time on the score clock. Check. Lopes player hits the deck. Good look here from Fort Lewis early on. Shot and goal. Skyhawks taking the lead.
Absolutely. I didn't get the opportunity yet to be able to see who scored.
Number 20.
Number 20 for the Skyhawks. That'll be Piper Price. She's a sophomore from Dripping Springs, Texas. Gets her first goal of the game. I would tend to think, Chris, especially with having to play the first game, at least here in the first half, that presents some wonderful things for the Skyhawks. They're probably looser. They've had the opportunity to have a game under their belt. They've worked with each other. The catch will be in the second half is It'll be the end of the second game. The heat will really have started to kick in. Will they be able to have the stamina to be able to keep going throughout the entire second half? That is one of the reasons, though, why we're playing a running clock here today, is to be able to shorten it up, since every team will be playing 2 games.
Yeah, it's a good point here for the viewers just tuning in that weren't here for the first game. We are playing 15-minute quarters, running clock. So you won't see the clock stop on goals as you normally would. I believe they are still stopping the clock in the final 2 minutes of the half and the end of the game, but otherwise this is essentially a running clock.
As the Skyhawks now have it on the near side of the field. One of the things we saw in the first game from the Skyhawks is they have very, very strong stick skills. They also have a great ability to be able to work together as a team, have constant ball movement and player movement.
And the backwards look and good defense here by the Lopes. Nice snag inside, bounce shot. I don't know how that didn't go in, but great effort here by Lopes goalie number 9, Tristan Milkey.
Well, this could be a break for Grand Canyon. But the Skyhawks do get back on defense to be able to slow it down just a bit. Chris, why don't we talk for a moment, because we did bring up, as we were about to say, there was a shot and a great save that took place there.
Yeah, Kaylee Lay really fast on her feet there, just able to move and occupy a lot more space than you might expect, and really making it hard to sneak a ball past her.
One of the changes we will be having for today's game is we are playing with club lacrosse rules, so there is no shot clock. That being said, is the Skyhawks in the first game, because they are a Division I team, play as though there was a shot clock, so they didn't work it around their perimeter as much as you would, as a club team may, and that will prove to be a difference potentially in this game.
And unfortunately, that's the only really substantial rule difference between club and NCAA is the use of the shot clock. But otherwise, these teams are essentially playing by the same rules they'll be playing in their regular seasons.
Which works out well, because even though one is a club team and one is not, there are pretty evenly matched. Is GCU, having gone so well in the WWCL league, these teams are really coming at each other where I would not say one team had a significant advantage player-wise over another.
So Haley Seaman, local player here from Phoenix, on the 8-meter shot. Kaylee Lay in the cage defending, and Lay, the easy save, shot right into the stick, but this pass is going to sail out of bounds. And there's going to be another opportunity for the Lopes to hold on to the possession.
The Lopes have actually had a pretty significant advantage for time of possession so far in this game. So far, though, they haven't been able to take advantage of it. We'll see if that changes.
So nice slide there by the Skyhawks, pressuring out and forcing a ground ball opportunity here. Still no possession. Lopes able to hold on to it.
One of the things that we discuss a lot in the first game, we'll be discussing it more here, is kind of the differentials between the high school game and the college game. And one of the things that you will see is in the high school game, you'll notice a lot more one-on-one play, where you'll have one significant player trying to be able to take down the defense and be able to break through and score themselves. that type of play really doesn't work well at the college level, does it, Chris?
No, I call that the one-man army, and doesn't always work so well, but a nice little spin dodge shot and goal for Breland Caffey, getting the Lopes on the board.
That ties the score at 1. Breland Caffey's a junior from Windsor, Colorado, so getting a goal against her home state team. But if you can tell from your screen, it is an absolutely perfect day here in Tempe, Arizona. It is a little bit warm, but at most there's only a few light puffy clouds in the sky of a perfectly blue sky.
Yep, just under 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
The score is tied at 1 between GCU and Fort Collins.
So Lopes here looked to have the draw win, but yep, and they are going to hold on to it.
A green card has been issued on the play, Chris.
So on a green card now at the college level, that's got to be a whistle restart because they are sending a player off field. That's going to be, it looks like it's against the Lopes, Craig. So it should be, I think, Fort Lewis ball. I must be seeing that backwards. I didn't see a Skyhawk player go off field, and it is staying possession with the Lopes.
Oh, that's okay. But Chris, for those who weren't with us for the first game, and if we have people who are used to the high school game and not the college game, why don't you take a moment and explain what a green card means? Because that could be new to some of our listeners.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you know, you see there, by the way, why wearing at least the eye goggle protection is important. It looks like the ball making contact there with the player's goggles, but Skyhawks making their way down. And yeah, as you watch this midfield play between the restraining lines, and the field is divided into thirds, right? So you've got an attack zone on either side in the middle third, but if you get a physical foul like a cross check or a push or trip in that midfield at the college level, an official can call a green card on that, which is essentially a delay of game, and the player who commits the foul will serve a 1 minute penalty. So it's kind of like a yellow card, but it's only a 1 minute penalty, but still provides that power play opportunity for the other team to have a minute with a player up advantage.
And unlike a yellow card, you really don't keep track of green cards, so it's not going to lead to a player rejection. It's not going to lead to any major issues. But it's, as we speak...
Yeah, and I think it's our first yellow today, going against number 4, Geneva Barrett, defender. So she'll be out for 2 minutes.
And given that that's one of the first 3 yellow cards, that would mean it's a releasable foul, correct, Chris?
Correct, yeah. So another key difference here at the college game, those yellow cards being releasable. So if Skyhawks are able to get a score here in the next 2 minutes, and there they have it.
Which they just did.
So shot and goal there. Second one for number 20, Piper Price. Sophomore attacker out of Dripping Springs, Texas. Certainly making her presence known here. And of course, Craig, you know, we don't talk about it often, but there's another reason these players come out and play so hard in these fall ball scrimmages, and that is that, you know, the starting lineups on these teams have not been finalized typically, and these players are competing for these starting spots on these teams.
No, my coaches would always tell me is practice, and especially scrimmages, that leads to real playing time. And if you want to be able to see yourself get on the field during the regular season, this is where the opportunity you have to show yourself.
Definitely. Lopes with possession here. Emma Adams getting the draw control. Now back behind goal line extended. Lopes setting up a play.
Chris, earlier you talked about the headgear that some of the players wear. And if you remember during the first game, the Fort Collins goalie took one right off the head. And so that's one of the reasons, especially from a goalie's perspective, why they wear such protection.
Yeah, and I think watching the replay, I believe it went right into the face shield, and you could certainly hear it very loud on the sidelines, but you can imagine you wouldn't want that without protection.
All of these young ladies play with a certain amount of enthusiasm and so forth, but there's always that little bit of element of danger to it. But I think players actually enjoy that, and they don't even think about it. It's just a part of the game, and you keep on going.
And no whistle here as Lopes goes
looks
down.
like she just fell down. It doesn't look like there was any foul play of any kind. So we got a fast break opportunity for Fort Collins.
Oh, good look there. And fortunately was able to keep that ball from speeding out of bounds. And excellent finish by the Skyhawks.
Looks like that was number 19. Especially one of the things with the clear blue sky and the light blue uniforms and light blue numbers, sometimes it's a little difficult for us to be able to identify the players right away, but that looked like it was number 19.
It was. I was trying to catch the assist, but I missed it. But Phoebe Ramirez with the finish there, and looks like we got a timeout on the field. As Fort Lewis takes a 3-1 lead here early.
Well, early on, GCU, even though they weren't getting the goals, had a significant lead in time of possession. Over the last couple of minutes, though, I think that's definitely evened itself out, and Fort Lewis has found themselves with some substantial opportunities. Again, their ball movement, especially for a scrimmage at this time of year, is very impressive.
Absolutely. And for the GCU fans, GCU launched their club fundraiser 2 days ago looking for donations. So if you're a GCU fan, you'd like to support GCU, a lot of these club teams are not always fully funded or even funded at all from their school. So these teams do count on support from the fans. So you can scan the QR code or take that link there. We'll put that link in the chat for you as well. But if you're a GCU fan, would love to have you show your support for the team and make a donation here to the team fundraiser.
GCU has made some significant strides over the past few years. Is when they were even a D2 club team, is they had reached third place in the national finals according to their coach. And then last year, think about how far they came within the new league that they were. And they played in the conference semifinals of their conference. They knocked off a team that knocked off second-ranked Boston College and Brigham Young earlier in the season, and they went to the national tournament. I mean, talk about a tremendous accomplishment for the GCU club lacrosse team, and you know they're looking to do even better this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think two notable wins last year, right? One was that game against Brigham Young, who had taken out Boston College just the day before, and Boston College had been undefeated, I think, for something like 52 games. I can't remember the exact number, but it was over 2 years of being undefeated. Brigham Young beat them on this very field we're out here. The next day, GCU able to beat Brigham Young 10-9. And then over in the WWL Championships just a couple months later, the reigning WWLL champs, San Diego State, taken out early in the playoff round by GCU, also 10-9 by the way, so that seems to be a score that works to GCU's favor. So close games, but really fantastic work by this GCU team to level up. And you know, I think you got to give a lot of that credit to Coach Ramirez and how she's been developing this team and bringing them up to play at a higher level.
It will be interesting for GCU this year, Chris, is one of the things that we learned is they're really only going to have one home game this year at Grand Canyon University. What impact do you think that'll have on their team?
That's hard to say. We talked to Ramirez, and I think we would expect it to maybe be a huge disadvantage to lose that home field advantage. She didn't seem too concerned about it, Craig. I think she seems to have some confidence in her team's ability to play at the level she expects from them wherever they're playing.
I would say that that's absolutely the case, and especially when you take a look at the GCU roster. It is made up of a number of players from across the country. It's not loaded simply just with local players from the greater Phoenix area. So I would fully expect that they'd be kind of looking forward to playing on the road and playing in front of potentially their own fans.
So as play resumes, Skyhawks with the ball here. There's Tristan Milkey.
Pressure there at the back of the GCU zone. And just as I was about to say, if GCU can break it out, they may have a great opportunity, and that's exactly what's happening.
Nice slide up high by the Skyhawks, and GCU seems content here to slow things down, try to control the pace a little bit. Good look on the inside, looking for that left high to high, but nice save.
Skyhawks take it right back down the middle of the field.
And Kaylee Lay has just been a great force between the pipes today for the Skyhawks.
Well, who was bringing it down the middle of the field was Maddie Thompson. And Maddie has really played a strong game today. Her, along with Sydney Tanaji, have really controlled the middle of the field for the Skyhawks.
And I believe that was,
they were looking for going right towards the goal.
yeah, and that looked like an unfortunate one. Take a look at the replay here. So it looked like Delgado is trying to assist over to 12. Ball deflected. Battle for the ground ball here, and yeah, just sneaked right between the goalie's feet there. Advantage there for Fort Lewis. I'm not sure who you'd credit that goal to be honest.
No, I actually lost track of the ball because it was just amongst a number of feet, and I'm not sure it ever really did hit anybody's stick.
Right.
But a goal counts for a goal, and that makes it 4-1 Skyhawks. I do think it's important for the Skyhawks to be able to get off to a good start in this game, because again, their depth will be tested in the second half, as it's difficult enough to be able to play one game, let alone two back-to-back.
So it looked like number 20, Emma Adams, taking the draw for GCU. Fort Lewis looking for the fast break. I think for Fort Lewis, number 12, Maddie Thompson, taking the draw for them. Delgado driving in.
Far side of the field. One of the things you can definitely see is Fort Lewis off-the-ball player movement is very strong. They're always looking for cutters going in and out. They're not just moving the ball around the perimeter. They're looking for people cutting in front of the goal constantly.
Maddie Thompson with a nice look inside, looking for that shot, sneaking it in. I thought that went in. Must have been outside the net.
I saw the net move, so there must have been.
Yeah, we call those mom goals.
Ah. GCU attempting to break out as Fort Lewis definitely tries to be able to pressure them back in the Grand Canyon end. Again, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind here is the Grand Canyon coach openly said they want to be able to work on specific parts of their game. Score was not important as far as the coach was concerned. There was just different sets, different things that they really wanted to be able to work on. And I think that's been obvious so far in the game today, is there's different components that they're trying to be able to put together. Early in the season is you just need to be able to fine-tune some things.
Certainly, but I think, as a player, sometimes that might be not the easiest thing to stick to. You're out there playing, you're competitive.
Oh no, especially when you're a player, it's like, but coach, I'm a scorer, I want to score. And sometimes the coach may ask you, yeah, but I need you to be able to practice passing today. But coach, I want to score. We've all seen that kind of thing before.
A little high check comes in with a whistle. That's going to be inside the 8, so that should give.
But I would fully expect we're going to see today sometimes people who normally play defense playing offense and vice versa. And that is the kind of thing you're looking for from a scrimmage. You want to be able to see the versatility of your players. You want to be able to see, what do I really have on my squad?
Nice crash there by the Lopes as Ava Postal had that free position shot but wasn't able to get the shot off. Driving inside, shot and goal for the Skyhawks. This one coming out of the stick of number 1, Jasmine Nguyen.
Jasmine Nguyen scores her first goal of the day. She's a freshman from Poway, California, and I'm sure, scrimmage or not, getting your first goal for your new university is something she's always going to remember. And we were talking about freshmen. The Skyhawks actually have eight freshmen on their lineup, so it's roughly about a third of their lineup are freshmen. So it is going to be interesting for them to be able to incorporate their new freshmen into their overall team activity. And just imagine what it's like for a freshman. They've just finished their first quarter at their college. They just took their first set of midterm exams, and now they're out here playing a lacrosse game. So absolutely incredible what these female athletes get to do and what they're able to accomplish.
Nice look from the Skyhawks, but a great save by Milky there for the Lopes. Again, women's lacrosse, when you got a shot and that ball goes out of bounds, unlike a lot of sports, it's not who touched the ball last that determines possession. It's which team is closest to the ball when the ball goes out of bounds, and the stick is considered part of the equation there. So that's why you'll see the players holding their stick out as they run towards the sideline, because whoever can be closest to that ball when it goes out is going to win that possession for their team.
And Chris, you mentioned the stick. We talked about this a little bit in the first game. Can you describe some of the differences of the stick between the men's game and the women's game in lacrosse? Because there are some substantial differences.
Well, the key really is just the pocket depth, right? For the men's game's quite a bit deeper. a little easier to keep possession and cradle, and you'll see the men's game's a lot more physical, so they can check much harder. They're wearing pads. You know, really overall just a different sport. And you've also got long stick middies in the men's game, no long sticks here in the women's game. So a number of differences. Nice look on the inside there.
Absolutely. As number 20, Piper Price, came running in, and a wonderful save by Tristan Mookie.
Yeah, Milky's just been looking great. This ball going to stay in bounds. Right on the sideline here. It's a maroon line they're playing on there. Ball steps out, and see who touched it last. According to the official, it is touched last by the Lopes Skyhawks ball.
They double team the ball, and that leads to...
Yeah, let's see. So officials keep possession. Skyhawks able to finally get it out of danger there.
The ball has been down here in the south end of the field an awful lot this quarter, Chris.
And definitely seemed like that hour break really helped the Skyhawks. They were looking pretty fatigued at the end of that ASU game, but really looking pretty good right now. Nice footwork on the inside, but great defensive turnover here for the Lopes, and they really needed this. Good pass upfield, but not able to pull it in. Back and forth we go.
Well, cradled and then passed up to number 20 for the Skyhawks. That was Piper Price once again. As they now have it on the far side of the field. Again, their stick handling is phenomenal. And they've done a really good job, not just working around the perimeter and using the stick, but in setting cutters to the goal and getting them open for really, really good shots.
Breland Cappy had a nice check there, but driving inside. Another goal for the Skyhawks off the stick of number 16.
Absolutely. And that's Sierra Lund. She's a sophomore from Boise, Idaho. And she had one goal in the first game, and that was her first goal here in the second game. Which makes the score Skyhawks 5, GCU 1.
So just under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. And again, we are playing running clock today on these scrimmages. Normally the clock in a regular season game would be stopped after a goal like that, but all these teams playing 2 games today, and it is a fairly warm day, especially out here on the turf. Just likes to soak up that heat and radiate it right back. You really feel it in the feet when you're out on the field here, Craig. It just comes right through the soles of the cleats.
Absolutely, positively. One of the things that was interesting in that last goal, and it's because of the stick work the Skyhawks had, you notice that GCU pushed their defense out to be able to try to be able to slow that down. That left some open room in front of the goal that the Skyhawks were really able to take advantage of. So,
and I think the Skyhawks moved early on that draw, had a false start, so possession got awarded to the Lopes, who so far have only found the back of the net once today, and see if they can put together a good possession here. Good defensive slide from the Skyhawks. Number 8 there, making a play, getting the turnover. Ooh, goalie losing it for a second. Being challenged.
Ooh, I think she took one across the back of the head there, Chris.
Yeah, and you know, to be clear, a check to the head is a yellow card automatically, even with the goalie. The helmet doesn't excuse the check to the head. So it looks like that's...
Unfortunately, that's going to send off number 3, Gianna Peters, for 2 minutes. Obviously, it wasn't intentional, but as you say, a check to the head doesn't matter. It's an automatic 2-minute penalty.
Yeah. And so with that, Skyhawks just under a minute to play here in the first half. Coming across midfield. Nice ride from GCU, number 11, Riley Siegel, making her presence known. We got a whistle.
I think is it a timeout? I believe it. No.
As penalty administration may chew up the rest of the clock here. So it looks like a green card
being issued to number 20, Emma Adams.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. That's one of the rules we talked about earlier. So we should go to half here, and what should happen is when we come back at the start of the next quarter, the ball should start back with possession in the relative position on the field with the Skyhawks. So again, that penalty will carry over and possession will stay. I don't think we'll have a draw coming back on the second half. And with that, it's really been all Skyhawks this first half, Craig. I think they've come out and looked really good defensively on attack, and they're really executing well in the draw. So it'll be interesting to see here what Coach Ramirez does in terms of adjustments here at halftime. And of course, to your point, may just come out and continue to run different schemes as they've been working on. So we may not see, a lot different other than trying some players in different positions.
I think so, but I also do think that the first game really helped the Skyhawks get some of the cobwebs out, if you would. Is they got their adrenaline going, so forth, and GCU is still trying to be able to learn themselves as a team, learn their new players, and learn all the things that their coach is trying to be able to say. So I would fully expect that GCU is going to come out much stronger in the second half. Again, you would expect that with one team that's had one game's prior experience, so a team that's played 60 minutes together versus a team that hasn't. So I think there could be some substantial changes in the second half. But yes, once again, Coach Ramirez really wants to be able to work on specific items, and openly said scoring goals and the final score not of her main importance today. And everyone, all the coaches said across the board, their main priority is making sure all of their girls have fun.
And I think on the other side with the Skyhawks, again, new head coach Ariana Ritter has to be happy with what she's seen out of her team so far today. Great performance against ASU, and really coming back after ASU took the early lead there to finish strong, and coming out here so far and really looking like they're firing on all cylinders so far. So great preseason set of games so far for the Skyhawks. So with that, we've got a 10-minute halftime. We'll take a break. Chris Ross here with South Mountain Sports along with Craig Stevens, and we'll see you on the other side. All right, fans, welcome back here at the second half. Grand Canyon University Antelopes taking on the Fort Lewis Skyhawks in this women's lacrosse matchup. Being hosted here at Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona on a warm October 26th, Saturday afternoon. Chris Ross here with South Mountain Sports alongside with Craig Stevens.
Good to be here with you, Chris, today. It's a fantastic day here in Tempe. Still a little bit warmer than we'd want right before Halloween, but how can we complain? I'm sure there's people across the country which are saying, you're complaining and having perfect sunshine and a warm day.
Well, I will tell you, the fans here are all struggling to find every little bit of shade they can. We have a lot of mesquite trees here in Arizona, and there's a few around the field here, and every one you can see at least one person camped under it.
As we start the quarter, don't forget, his green card was issued right at the end. So the quarter starts off with the Skyhawks having a player advantage.
A look inside the shot.
As Chris said at the end of the first half, that's why there was no face-off to begin the third quarter, because the penalty ended the first half.
Again, you see the shot there from the Skyhawks, and the Skyhawks attacker backing it up, being careful not to touch the ball as it goes out of bounds, ensuring that possession stays with Fort Lewis as they continue to work on their attack game. Taking a shot, backed up again by White as they come back in. Looking for a lane, but shut down.
Oh, fantastic pass.
Shot and goal number 12. Maddie
Number
Thompson.
12, that's Maddie Thompson. And Maddie Thompson took that pass from Sydney, Tennessee. Those two ladies have been dominant in the middle of the field and showed it again there. An absolutely fantastic pass to a cutter right in front of the goal for an easy shot, easy score, making the score Skyhawks 6, GCU 1. So the Skyhawks definitely taking advantage of their player advantage.
Well, and you touched on Maddie Thompson earlier, Craig. I mean, this freshman has had a great breakout performance in her college debut here today. Winning draws, goals, assists, ground balls, has really just been a force in all phases of the game.
Well, Chris, with your familiarity with the Skyhawks conference, what would you think their chances would be in their conference this year?
You know, it's hard to say. The RMAC's a competitive conference. You've got Regis and Colorado Mesa, who for many years have been the number 1 and 2 teams, respectively. Goggles come off here, so they pause play for safety. But in addition to the Skyhawks here, you've got UCCS, University of Colorado and Colorado Springs Mountain Lions. You've got the Pueblo Thunderwolves, Westminster, Griffins.
As play restarts. As that was number 1, Jasmine Gwynn taking it off the start.
So yeah, Craig, 6 teams there in the RMAC conference, and you know, there's been 2 consistent teams there in the top, and I think the other 4 are all looking to change that up this season. So we'll see. It should be an exciting season in the RMAC for sure.
Well, I know we were talking to Coach Ritter before the game, and there were a few things she was looking to be able to do, not just in this game today, but accomplish within the next season. She wants to add a new creative offense. She also wants to be a little bit more gritty on defense. So in her words, wanted to be able to add a new look to the program. But one of the things she did say was she would absolutely love to be able to have this game in Durango next year. And that's something I'd be up for. What do you think there, Chris?
Yeah, no, sign me up. Instead of the warm sun, I think it'll probably be some nice, cool mountain fall weather. And Skyhawks play at the Ray Dennison Memorial Field. It's an absolutely beautiful facility, and Durango's just a great town to visit. So, you know, that's one of the things here for this Skyhawks program. And what's really great about the Skyhawks is they've been a great pathway for a lot of Arizona players. Last year had Capri Abadesa graduate out of the Skyhawks program. As mentioned earlier, Zoe Delgado currently here on the squad, number 10, another local player here. And then starting next season, we've actually got another player joining here from Arizona, Sofia de Bonaventura. She's actually been out at the games here watching her future college team play and connecting up with her future coach and teammates. So really, Skyhawks program just been a great partner program here for Arizona girls lacrosse as a pipeline here for some of the talent coming out of Arizona.
Well, GCU has a very similar story in a way, is because GCU is actually using its athletic programs as a way to be able to attract fantastic students and gain notoriety for the university. You can be able to see that through many of their programs, from basketball, baseball, so forth. And it's really the same in the lacrosse program. Is GCU is putting a lot of emphasis into this girls lacrosse program and all of their club programs as they take a shot and score.
Nice roll dodge there for GCU. Nikki Terry, number 25.
Absolutely. Nikki Terry is a junior from San Diego. And that makes the score 6-2. That's good for GCU. Remember, one of the things that I said was, even though the Skyhawks are used to playing at altitude, the heat may affect them as well as playing 2 games in a row. So it is going to be interesting to see how well their team holds up. And it'll be a great representation of their depth here in the second half. We'll see if GCU has the opportunity to be able to take advantage of that. But one of the things that I was mentioning about GCU is there really is a strong emphasis on all of their sports programs. And they're attracting students from across the country. So, in very similar ways, they're trying to be able to continue the growth of the program, and I think GCU has done a fantastic job of that. I mean, just look at their accomplishments that they made last year, and they're just looking to be able to capitalize on that and do even greater things this year.
Yeah, and of course, Craig, we've got 4 women's clubs team here in the state of Arizona. So you got GCU and ASU, who's here today. Down in Tucson, U of A Wildcats have their Division I team in the same division. Oh, nice ball movement and finish by the Skyhawks, number 14 on the finish there.
Absolutely. Number 14 is Riley Paulus, another freshman getting her first goal for the Skyhawks.
And that was such fast movement and such a quick finish.
So that answers the goal and makes it 7-1 Skyhawks.
You know, I'm hoping
7-2 Skyhawks.
I'm hoping somebody's keeping the time here, Craig. They didn't restart the clock on the sideline there, unfortunately, so I can't tell you how much time's left here in the third.
You know, it's interesting. I think the official just realized that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll just pick a time. It's been a running clock anyway. But scrimmage, unofficial game.
Well, speaking of officials, Chris, you want to mention some things about the officials. There's a couple of unique things that are happening today with the officials on the field.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as we get things going here again for GCU, Nikki Terry passes off of the whistle from the draw. But yeah, the officials, just like the teams, they use these preseason fall ball games to practice, to work on new rules, to find final positions for players, and of course work on the different schemes that they put together on the attack and defense, and test the midfield lineups. Well, in a similar way, the officials are also using these games to train and level up officials. So actually, today, 4 of the officials on the field here are actually completing their officials level 3 clinic, which is a certification for officials moving up to be able to officiate at the collegiate level. So we are actually seeing the officials here use the opportunity of the 3 games today to practice as well. And of course, without officials, you can't have games. So it's great to have this opportunity to support the officials as well. And with that, provide a shout out to David Woodson with Come On Ref, who also has been a longtime commissioner here for the Western Women's Lacrosse League. I'm actually not sure if he still is, but has done a lot of service for the club, but also service here for the officials here in not just Arizona, but in the West. We'll go ahead and turn off the clock feed for now since we don't have a time there. If we do get a time back, we'll bring that back up later.
Showing some speed, though, and then getting knocked off the ball was number 1, Jasmine Gwynn.
Let's see here. That's a green there against... So against the Skyhawks, going to be a whistle start here for Fort Lewis. One of the things I've noticed today, Craig, is the officials have been a little bit more lenient on the whistle starts, warning the players and giving them the opportunity to come back and restart play as opposed to doing a false start call.
Exactly. And that's something the defenses have to be able to get used to, is because when players are able to put the ball back in play that quickly, the defense can't necessarily get set. So they need to be aware of that all of a sudden it could be turned into a fast break opportunity very, very quickly.
Yeah, nice knockdown caused turnover here for the Lopes. And I do believe there was a rule change in the last couple of years, Craig, where it's not a mandatory false start. So you used to have, if players moved on a whistle start, it became a turnover. And now the officials will instead call them back and reset to a whistle start. So I believe that rule, there's a little more leniency now than there used to be.
Well, it appeared as though in previous years where there were times it would penalize the team that it was supposed to be helping when it stopped the play. So.
Oh, what a move. Keeping the ball in play. Making the pass as she goes out of bounds. Unfortunately, didn't stay with Skyhawks possession. GCU was able to come in and get the possession back, but what an effort.
Chris, fans may notice there is some things going on over by the scorers table. It doesn't appear as though it's with any of the coaches or players, but they are looking to provide assistance to an individual on the far side of the field under the scorers tent.
Well, always important to have, an athletic trainer on staff for events like this. Players do go down. Fortunately, there's not always a lot of intentional collision on the field, but people still twist ankles, twist knees, have some collisions, and the heat is definitely a factor here. If you're not staying hydrated and staying in the shade, could certainly have some heat exhaustion going on as well. Turnover here for the Skyhawks. Shot sails wide right. Yeah, and to your point, Craig, looks like they've actually brought an ambulance over, so.
That was why it caught my attention, and I was, if you had seen that on the screen, I just wanted to be able to let people know that, again, we do not know what's going on. It does not appear to be any one of the players, but we will let people know what we see as we find out more information.
It was the foot balance forward.
Here we go, Brad. Let's go, Greasy.
Remember the first game?
Go, Brad. Right here. Let's go.
Started feeling goofy.
Let's go, Greasy. Go, Maddie. There we go, Maddie.
Okay, apologies there. We're back, folks. Had a little technical glitch there in the broadcast, but didn't miss anything. We went into the final period changeover, so we're in the fourth quarter now. No change in score, 7-2. And Craig, I believe you were able to get an update during that intermission on the ambulance and the person being treated.
Yes, if people were with us for the first game, is the Skyhawks goalie, and I think we mentioned this even in this game, took a shot to the face. It didn't seem to be serious, but then unfortunately in this game she accidentally took another stick to the head. Was starting to feel a little bit woozy, so as a 100% precautionary measure, they'd taken her to the hospital for observation.
And the finish there by number 28, Ava Postal.
So again, if any parents or anything are listening, this is 100% precautionary. They're just making sure of everything, which they need to be able to do in any athletics today. When anybody takes any shot to the head, no one wants to be able to take any issues with concussions, anything along those lines. So, for a precautionary measure, they're just removing the player from the field and are taking her to the hospital.
And it looks like we do have our timer back on for the fourth quarter here, just under 13 minutes to play. Lopes driving in, losing the ball out of the cage. And it's 28 Abigail Lady, freshman in the cage for the Skyhawks. I believe it is the senior Kaylee Lay, number 31.
I believe that is correct, that it was Kaylee Lay, number 31.
So
the senior that started the game and was in for the first half.
So wishing her all the best here, and hopefully nothing serious. And really had such a fantastic day today, Craig. I mean, some amazing saves, some great clears, and really a big reason why the Skyhawks have been in good position here in both of these games.
Absolutely. And scrimmage, regular season game, postseason game, immaterial, I think it is absolutely the right move when there's any potential for any injury, especially to the head, that 100% precautions are taken, which is what we did here. And thankfully, the facilities here at Arizona State University, the availability of emergency people are top-notch and first class here in this area. The good thing for Fort Collins is it doesn't seem like the fourth quarter has affected their team whatsoever. Is they're still running with the same abandon, the same speed that they have pretty much throughout both games, which is extremely impressive. And same thing with GCU. GCU has not slowed down an absolute step, and GCU does have another game left against Arizona State, starting an hour after this game concludes. So I would fully expect that GCU will be using their full bench throughout the rest of this game. Matter of fact, we've already seen a number of the GCU sophomores taking a prevalent role already in this game. Chris, looking at the roster, GCU really is built for the future, not just today, because there are only 3 seniors on the entire roster. So you can imagine they're not just building for this year, they're building for next year and beyond.
Yeah, it's a great point. Most of the players on this team are sophomores and juniors, just 5 freshmen. And like you say, just 3 seniors. So really, GCU is going to have an opportunity to really keep this team together for quite a while. What a nice high-to-low stop there by Lady. And a perfect clear out, finds the open player.
And if you look at GCU's roster, it is an incredible mix of players, so they're going to have the opportunity to take advantage of 2 different things. Is they openly can show how people come to GCU to be able to play this sport from across the country, and they're going to be able to recruit for a huge growing sport here locally in the Phoenix area. Because if you take a look at women's high school lacrosse in Greater Phoenix, it is growing every single year in leaps and bounds. And I can only imagine how much it'll grow the next year, especially given the final game that happened for the Arizona State Lacrosse Championships this year, which was perhaps one of the most exciting lacrosse games I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was definitely one for the books. That was a great game. And a lot of players here at Arizona moving on to play at the collegiate level, Division I, Division II, Division III, and club. Right there into the stick of Milky.
As an example, Chris, I believe that there were about 15 players, if memory serves me correctly, that played in the Arizona High School Lacrosse Championship this year that are moving on to play D1 soccer. That is an incredible number. So just imagine how many are going on to play other leagues, club teams, so on and so forth.
Lacrosse, not soccer.
Pardon me, lacrosse.
But yes, absolutely.
Everyone's allowed at least one slip of the tongue every 5 minutes, right?
Absolutely. Great markup there on the goalie by the Skyhawks and able to force possession right back. Got a whistle coming in here. So Milky be defending here against, I believe it's 22. Or 28, sorry, coming in. Another shot and goal for the Skyhawks.
Absolutely, number 28. Ava Postal. She's from St. Louis, Missouri. That's her first goal of the game today. That makes it 8-2. I would tend to think that Coach Ritter is going to be very happy with her team's performance today, and it's going to be a happy ride back to Durango.
And again, not that it matters as a scrimmage. We'll try to confirm the score. We've got 9-2 on our scoreboard, Craig. Over at the table, it seems like they stopped keeping score after the first half.
Okay.
Still showing 6-1 over there. But if we've been doing our job, it's 9-2 Skyhawks. About 5 minutes to play here. And GCU, I think, really needs to take this opportunity to, as Coach Ramirez said, work on what they've been practicing, put things together, but another great extension of the stick and takeaway by Skyhawks. Looks like it's number 11.
Now, Chris, this is interesting. Look and see how the Skyhawks goalie is so far away from the goal. Is that a common occurrence?
Well, goalies know when it's safe to come out, right? And I do want to just shout out again as Marla Warrior. I think my most favorite lacrosse name I've ever seen, forcing that takeaway all single-handedly. And yeah, Lady coming out of the cage, I think, can see the direction the ball's going in the play. And, one of the things that's really fun is sometimes we like to throw GoPros in the cage, Craig, and you realize goalies are doing so much more than just making saves. They're kind of the quarterback of the defense. They're always giving direction to the team. They're telling them which direction the ball's coming in hot, and they're directing their defense. So goalies really, one of the most important skills as a goalie is actually not your ability to save and defend, but your ability to communicate. And great low shot there and saved. But we've got a yellow card. Looks like that's going to be either a dangerous follow-through or dangerous propel. I think that's a dangerous follow-through signal.
Yes. It was on number 25.
So that's Nikki Terry again. That might have been her second yellow of the game. I can't remember for sure who the yellow was on earlier, Craig. If so, she won't be able to return here for this remaining 3 minutes.
No, absolutely. And for what you were saying about goalies, Chris, is as a former goalie, one of the things that I was constantly told is I was the captain of the team. I needed to be able to make sure that the rest of the team knew what they were doing, especially when the attack was coming closer to me. Is communication absolutely is the key, and leadership is the key to being a goalie. It's not just your ability to be able to stop the shot, because ultimately your job is to try to help your defense so that the other team can't take a shot at you.
And almost had a knockdown shot and goal for the Skyhawks. This one off the stick of 26, Victoria Barletta, sophomore midfielder out of Durango. So hometown player playing for her local college there.
So that makes the score 10-2. And what we thought may happen, where the Skyhawks may tire a bit in the second half, has turned out to be the exact opposite. They've turned it on in the second half. But I don't see an ounce of quit in the GCU team. As a matter of fact, I think that they're really following their coach's instructions. They're working on different parts of their game, and they absolutely need to be credited for that.
So about a minute and a half to play here in this second game. Battle here for the draw controls all the way down, picked up by the Skyhawks.
Chris, wouldn't you think the opportunity to play a D1 team like the Skyhawks, regardless of the outcome, is going to be beneficial to a team like GCU?
Well, yeah, always playing an NCAA team is a great opportunity. Skyhawks are sitting actually in Division II, but here in the RMAC conference, but again, we were talking about in the first game, I think, these Division I Western Women's Lacrosse League WWLL club teams tend to compete very well against these RMAC teams. So it's a great interconference matchup, really between any of the teams on either side.
I think it has the opportunity to create some wonderful near-regional rivalries.
That shot blocked. Chance here for GCU to pick it up, but only 5 seconds on the clock. And so that's going to do it here. That's going to wrap up. I think the score is 10-2 if we have it correct, Craig, but I am 100% confident that the Skyhawks will be the victors in this matchup here.
And we were talking about rivalries, that's one of the things which will be coming up next, is we'll be having the crosstown rivalry of GCU versus ASU, starting in about an hour. But right now, let's just give congratulations to the Skyhawks, who came down here to Tempe and played incredibly well, came away with 2 victories, and I'm sure have made Coach Ritter very happy with what they were able to accomplish today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we certainly appreciate the Skyhawks making the trip down here. If they can host us next year in Durango, that would be fantastic. But big shout out to brand new head coach Ariana Ritter, assistant coach JoJo Lutz, taking over this Skyhawks team, coming out today, getting 2 W's here early in the preseason, Craig. And, I think it's been really a great showing of lacrosse for all the teams here today. We do, as you say, have one more game coming up. For the fans who are watching here for GCU and ASU, if you do see us go live early, don't be surprised. We've done this before, and sometimes these teams and these officials are hot and they're ready to get out of the sun. So if you see that live stream trigger a little early on the next game, that probably means the game is starting early. So I wouldn't be surprised. We're just over an hour out from that, but they might choose to go a little bit earlier.
I can almost guarantee you the players will say, we're warmed up, we're ready to go.
Definitely. Well, thanks again for tuning in for Game 2 of 3 here today in Tempe, Arizona with South Mountain Sports. And this is Chris Ross along with Craig Stevens. We'll sign off for this one, and we'll come back for one more. Thanks again for tuning in.